If you've been listening to the podcast or following me on any social media for any length of time, you know that I am passionate about online video and that it has helped me to grow my design business. I've actually been able to secure design contracts because those potential clients got to know me and got to know me specifically on YouTube. Well, my guest this week, Bobby Kroll of Bobby K Designs, is actually using YouTube to have clients find him, and he's securing six-figure design and construction contracts across the country. Stay tuned for episode 29 this week with Bobby Kroll. Giving architects and landscape architects the tools and strategies to be seen, heard, and valued in the marketplace, and telling the stories of leaders building thriving design firms and attracting their ideal clients. This is From Architecture to Profitecture. I'm your host, Jay Krakowski. Let's get started. Fellow and future Profitex, hello, how are you? Welcome to the show. So this week, I've got a fellow landscape designer on the show, and he is the owner of Bobby K Designs. And he started his YouTube channel just about 18 months ago, and it's grown to nearly 3,000 subscribers. But the more poignant point there is that it is driving is helping to drive his business and actually make 2020 his strongest year yet. So let's welcome to the show, Bobby Kroll. Bobby, how are you?
What's up? I am very good. Thank you for having me. That intro is super slick, buddy. I like that. Looks good.
Well, thanks. I got to get the theme song in there. So yeah, well, really happy to have you here, and really excited to tell your story of how you have kind of taken the bull by the horns with online video to help drive business to help clients find you, which hasn't necessarily been my story. But as soon as I heard that you were being able to get on planes to go do work across the country because of your YouTube channel, I thought that was pretty impressive. So maybe you can tell us a little story about maybe not just starting your business, but how you made the decision to incorporate YouTube into your business.
Sure. So I started my business in 2010. My company for the install side is called Rescue Landscaping. And my Black Lab Bear is actually in that logo. We donate towards rescue animal shelters, and we quote unquote rescue yards. That was the theme behind it. I started with lawns and maintenance, got deeper into more of the hardscaping. And then I found that where I really got excited was the creative process, the design process, the just making things pretty. That's just what spoke to me. And 2 years ago, I started my second company called Bobby K Designs. And what I wanted to do with that is brand myself as one of the faces of landscape design, if not the face of landscape design. I mean, you might as well shoot for the stars if you're going to do something. So right. I got my degree from New York. I have a finance degree, go figure, from Mizzou. I was in corporate. I found out quickly that wasn't for me. And from just stumbling around in corporate for a while, I finally got laid off, which was a great thing. I started that company, Rescue Landscaping, and boom, 11 years later, now I have an install and a design company. And going back to Bobby K, what I wanted to do was brand to a high-end residential audience. YouTube, I saw as a huge opportunity. As I learned more about it, I wish I had started 10 years ago. I think that it would be a much different situation. And anybody who does YouTube would tell you the same thing. Right. But video was so obvious to me as a way to just catapult the business, to be a face that people could get to know, trust, understand. And the trick is just giving out value, give, and help people understand how they can, in my particular scenario, it's as clear as I help you see what your landscaping can be. That's it. I just try to make it super simple. And that's the path that I started going down. I started making videos that gave out tips and tricks to the designs I create for people all over the country to help them understand different styles, different things they can do. The contractor in me gave out tips and tricks to help people save time and money, and just provide as much valuable content as possible. And in return, people do dig around and they come to your website. They start to look it up and get an idea of, all right, what are some of the things that he might be able to help me with? And that's how it started to really snowball. And we can get deeper into that.
Yeah, I'm happy to.
If you want to keep going. I mean, I could just talk. Go for it.
Well, and then, a question that came up was, as you were starting to talk about, you're giving out design tips, but you're also got the actual construction side, is how you approach, content planning, content creation.
One thing that you're bringing up that I definitely should say is I was in the field for 10 plus years. I didn't just get that design degree and sit behind a computer and learn software and then put out pretty pictures. I know how to build all this stuff. I built everything you can possibly think of, and I know how to troubleshoot it. And so when I'm putting together designs for local contractors, because I have more of a general contracting model now, I get it. I don't put things together that just look good and kind of say good luck. I know how to troubleshoot it. I know how to help them. I know what's available as far as the products. And these are the kinds of things that I think I can share with not only architects listening, but designers listening, is there are different ways to do business where you don't have to have 10, 15, 20 employees to finally hit that 7-figure marker. I have a different style and a different way that I do business where I've kind of broke through and I am hitting 7 figures with no employees.
I was gonna say, I hope you're going to tell them that you're an office of one.
I have a team behind me,
Right.
for various roles. One thing I learned, hey, I love the guy. I'll mention it. I went to Tony Robbins' business mastery class, and it was unbelievable. And what I love about it is taking more of an owner mindset, not an operator mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Once you start going into that kind of mentality, things begin to shift. You start to see, all right, what's my lane? Where do I want to stick? Where I'm good. And then you sub out and you find the rest. And that's a way that you can create a business model that works, where you don't have to have a bunch of employees. You get the right people in play. And I'm able to do it by essentially being a designer and a salesman for local contractors. And I get a percentage of the work that we land. Works pretty well.
The owners are paying you on the back end, or are they prepaying for design services?
So the way I'm doing it is I have my flagship Rescue Landscaping, where I get lots of sales calls. And then even with Bobby K, I go out on appointments. I would do it just like I did with my older business model. I land the work, and then I kind of cherry pick what's the best company in town that I have a relationship with that I think would be a good fit for this. I share the project. I make sure the numbers all line up. I take my percentage. I handle everything from the finances to the clients to any kind of troubleshooting. They put it in the ground. We all walk away winners. The homeowner gets the best installer in town at an affordable price. I mean, it just works, because essentially we're taking out some of the people that other big companies have on staff.
Right.
And we're able to make it work. A little vague. I'm not trying to throw all my tricks out there.
No.
That's in a nutshell.
Nor should you. Yeah. But as you were doing these projects and other, the big one that you highlighted recently was down in Augusta, Georgia.
Sure.
And you're in the St. Louis area, correct?
Yeah. So I'm in St. Louis, and I'll share about that. So the story is this. It's about 8:00 on a Friday night, and I get a call from a gentleman, and he starts off by saying, I just watched 20 of your YouTube videos. And already I'm like, you had nothing better to do? Like, really? Like that's what you were doing? So I thought that was kind of funny, but it was wonderful to talk to him. And he said that I love your style. I love what you're presenting, and I'd like you to design my backyard. I said, great. So he sent me a bunch of photos and specs, and we had a couple conversations, and I was able to put together a design for his backyard, which had tons of amenities, a pool, a couple pergolas, a couple other things, but he had no transitions in between all that. It was just grass. So that was the challenge, is how do you put together a design that flows and brings people to all these amenities and hits the budget that he had in mind. So he loved the design. He flew myself, and I brought a project manager down with myself. We sourced everything in town. I just went around to all the different stone yards and the different material supply stores and figured out, all right, how can I plan all this during a pandemic, mind you, which is not easy. And I put together a team. I rented an Airbnb for a month, and we ended up installing a $170,000 job off of a YouTube video that he essentially stumbled across.
That's wild.
There you go. Wild. Yeah, that'll make you, that's a good little chunk of the year right there, if you're talking
Yeah.
revenue.
Hmm.
And it came off of me just answering some basic questions and putting videos together around those questions.
Hmm.
I think that's what YouTube can be for anybody listening, any architect, any designer, is take the basics that are so obvious to you, but might not be obvious to your clientele, and help them understand some of the concepts and things that go into architecture or design. And then they're going to go deeper down the rabbit hole. And eventually, they're probably going to want your services and they will come to you. You become the expert for your market. And who knows, you might end up in Augusta, Georgia because of it. So,
Right. Well, yeah. When you mentioned the little things, I've told you before, my best performing video still to date is how to use a scale to read a drawing.
I don't even know how to do that. No, I'm kidding. But I mean, it's just, yeah, we all have our little talents and niches. And that's right. Somebody's searching for that and they want to put something together themselves, or they just want to learn or understand how to read something. And boom,
Right.
you got a great video and it
Hmm.
speaks to people.
Right. We did get a couple questions in
Great.
beforehand from some folks that couldn't be here, and Keith Williams, whom we both know, he's up here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Did you ever
What's
get to a
up, Keith?
place? Did you ever get to a place when you wanted to quit YouTube? And if so, what did you do about it?
No, never. Yeah, every time I think I wanted to make a video, it can be so overwhelming. And to those listening, there's lots of information out there, and it's kind of scary how much information is out there because it can paralyze you. There's so much out there that you stop yourself from starting sometimes. And you need to simplify the process. And one key piece of information that I think would lessen it being overwhelming is figure out who your avatar is. What I mean by that is, who do you want to speak to? Who do you want to make videos to? And don't try to reach the world in one video. You never will. It doesn't make any sense. If you're trying to specifically target real estate agents, talk to a real estate agent through the camera that you know. Act like they're right there on the other side. Talk to that one person. Don't try to talk to a real estate agent and a contractor and a residential homeowner and all these people at the same time, because that's just going to stop you dead in your tracks. So if you know who your avatar is, from there, then say, all right, what would be some things that that avatar would want to know? How can I help them? How can I provide value for them that makes them want to not only watch my videos, but subscribe and keep up to date with what I'm putting out and possibly do business with me down the road?
Hmm.
That's a great way to start. But have I ever wanted to quit? Yeah, absolutely. You put your heart and soul into something, and you might not even get a subscriber off of the video you put 10, 20 hours of editing into. Because I edited up until about 80 videos. I'm starting to sub out now, which feels great. But it you see what you're made of, to say the
Hmm.
least. But if you believe in it and you believe in what you're doing and why you're doing it, why you're putting in all this work, you're going to see results. You will.
Hmm. Well, I have I have a similar story. To be honest, I have not posted a lot on my design firm's channel in the past year. I've had a few come out, but I burned out. I was trying to do one a week all by myself and run the business. And as we were talking before we went live, I've got two kids. You've got kids,
Yeah.
so it's a lot to juggle. And I
Those
have
little
some.
blood suckers, I tell you.
Yeah, right. I had subbed some editing out in the past to virtual assistants and that, and I'm at the point where I'm ready to start doing that again, because
It's good.
there's just no way you can do it all. And I think that is a big lesson for anyone listening or watching here is, our focus should be on serving our clients. And while I think, and maybe you agree, Bobby, I think YouTube is probably the most powerful way to use online video. Instagram is great for keeping up connection, and maybe some on Facebook or maybe TikTok. I don't know.
Yeah. Got a little
TikTok
success
for
there. Yeah.
architecture,
Yeah.
which is out there, by the way. But the kind of the longevity and the the searchability of YouTube, I think could really help a lot of design firms, even a lot of design installers, and then even just straight construction firms.
Yeah. And not everybody it's okay if YouTube doesn't speak to you and it's not something you want to do. But when you do put out a piece of content on YouTube, it's something that can go on your website. You can chop it up into micro bits that can go on multiple platforms. It's an evergreen piece of content. So if you're asking a question that's been around since the dawn of time, basically, how do you install a retaining wall or how do you put
Right.
in a paver patio? Those aren't going away. Somebody may, I mean, if YouTube is around 30 years from now, your video just might be that one that just keeps coming up and you get paid for views once you reach a certain level. So you never know is all I'm
Hmm.
saying.
Right.
It can lead to things. It's not going to hurt.
To piggyback on that point is to take the retaining wall example. How many videos about installing retaining walls do you think are on YouTube? I mean,
Lots.
hundreds, right? But nobody
Thousands.
has thousands. Yeah. But nobody's
Thousands.
got your voice. No one's got your even design aesthetic and how you set up the video and what color the name tag is on the bottom left corner
That's
there.
right. And I got to jump in here because you bring up such an amazing point. If you feel that, how could I possibly get on YouTube? How could I possibly get out there when there's already this guy and this and this and this? They're not you.
Mm-hmm.
They are not you. Everybody has a different approach and a different voice and a different way of doing things. And there's plenty of room out there. It's like if you think about your local market and you're a design firm or you're a landscaping company. Just because there's another one doesn't mean there's not plenty of work for you and them and for you guys to team up on projects and still crush it. There's plenty of opportunity out there. And also think about all this. There's so many of the same types of videos out there. What if all of a sudden you're this person who just has an aha moment and just boom comes up with a completely different way to deliver that content and you just boom go through the roof? You totally
Right.
could be that person. So
Mm-hmm.
don't stop just because you see something. And here's another thing this is another great way. If you see a video that's got 2, 3, 400,000 views, a million views, that means people are interested in that. Make a video about that topic. That's gold. They are giving you the playbook right there.
Right.
So make one. That's a good starting point.
Right. Because yeah, again, it's the second largest search engine owned by the first largest search engine. So
And who owns it?
right, Google. So
You think Google's going away?
no.
You think Google likes to lose money? YouTube's going to be around. I'm telling
Right.
you.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, to your point, even if there's a cajillion views on it and that person has a million subs, well, that means that content is people are hungry for that content. So
That's right. And can I jump in again? You keep just triggering things in my head.
go for it.
Just because, like, you're gonna stop me anyways, right? I gotta get this out. This is a good one. I'm a little shy of 3,000 subscribers, which it's very small. It's not a big channel whatsoever. But because I know who my avatar is and who I'm talking to, the quality of who watches and comes to my website produces results. And it's not just the 170K job in Augusta. There's lots and lots of success stories that I could share with you about me doing designs for people all over. The whole point is you do not have to be a big channel. You don't to have big results. You might have 1 million subscribers and you might not make very much money at all. There's lots of Instagrammers who have a huge following, but they don't really have anything that they're pitching to. Think about
Right.
TikTok. Well, I guess TikTok's a little different, but there's people who just dance in front of a mirror, basically. Are they selling something? You think they're making money? No. But the guy who is pitching a specific service and attracting those kinds of people is making money. So don't get discouraged by numbers. Don't read into it. Just do you. I went a
That's
little off
great.
script there, but I'm
No,
telling you, like it's so true.
no, that's great. I mean, I don't even think I need to show this question now. What's your best piece of advice? I think that's
Oh,
it.
well,
That's it. So,
let me think. Do I have
all right.
something better? I got one. I got a good
All
one.
right.
Okay. Here is how you build up you want to be relatable. You want to be authentic. Everybody knows that, but it's one thing to know that, but how do you actually deliver that? And here's how you do it. When you're talking to the camera, take the words I and me out of your vocabulary as soon as possible, if it's possible. Talk to you. you really need to know how to do this, or you definitely don't want to do this if you're installing a retaining wall. You have to grab the person on the other side instantly, like within like 3 seconds, 3 to 5 seconds. And if you talk to you or them, you're going to have a much higher success rate than, hey, we're out here installing this retaining wall and we're so awesome. And I can't believe that. Nobody cares about you. They
Right.
want, how can you help me? I'm doing you and me and like in backwards, but I think if you're listening, talk to the audience and give them value. Don't pitch yourself. Nobody
Hmm.
really cares about you.
No.
That's kind of a blunt way to say it, but I think it's true.
Right. Well, it is the sales process. It's a new way of framing the sales process. It's
Yeah.
any piece of content that you that you put out there. So no,
Yeah.
I think that's a great piece of advice.
Cool.
So to track back a little bit, we started to talk about subbing out video editing.
Yeah.
And I know that for me, it's a creative process. I can go down the rabbit hole. I love video editing, actually. And probably a little too much. And it's to the detriment of my business, 12, 14 months ago, that I had to start to look at VAs, and then I've done a lot of editing since then, and I'm looking to
Yeah.
sub out again. What's your thought process as
This
you're
is
starting to sub out?
awesome. This is a great question. And the reason
Mhm.
this is so great is because if you don't really know and you're kind of finding you're going to stub your toe, you're going to stumble all over the place. Your first videos are going to be your worst videos, and that could be up to like 50, 60, 70 videos. I mean, I know that sounds like a lot of videos, but I'm still learning. I'm like almost 90 videos in. I'm still messing up all over the place. It's okay. Actually, people like when you mess up because it makes you relatable and like you're
Right, right.
normal, and it's not so polished that you're like, I can't do that, or I don't believe him, or whatever. So I like the idea of light editing your own videos up to a point where you start to feel like you're in your zone, or you actually have a template that if you did hire an editor, they can follow. Because how are you supposed to give something to an editor if you don't even really know how you're presenting your content or what you're doing? Or I just think that you almost need to know how to edit and how to put something together, and what's the flow of your videos so that they have something to go off. And then as you do that, it evolves. It's like in business. You need to know about accounting if you have a business. It doesn't mean you have to do your accounting, but you should know enough to speak the lingo. Just like if you hire an editor, you need to be able to speak the lingo with them. It's going to save you time and money in the long run. So learn, edit, start with iMovie, start with your phone. I did 30, 40, 50 videos with my phone before I even got a camera.
That's a huge point right there. That's whether it's, call it fear of what tech do I buy, but you don't need to.
Yeah.
It's right here. It's right here
I
in
mean,
your
you want to know
hand.
how crazy I am? I am a nut job, in my opinion. And I'd say that about myself, not loosely. Like, I literally got so down the rabbit hole of thinking that I needed to be the next Peter McKinnon, who's a huge YouTuber, that I looked at how much a red camera costs. Like that was going to make a difference. It's like a fifty,
It's a
sixty
small car
thousand
for
dollar,
the, yeah.
yeah, camera. Like, what the hell? Like, you're crazy. So do not get tied up in all the details. Just answer those questions and provide value, and you will start to evolve. And I think the videos that are the more raw, it amazes me. Somebody literally throws seed on a lawn, they get 1 million views. I'm like, what, why? You know why? Because he's answering the question that you search for in the search bar in the first place.
Hmm.
Just get to the point. Get to the point. That's another great tip.
Right.
Don't show yourself making coffee and having a run and all this cool stuff just because you think B-roll needs to be in your video. It doesn't. Just answer the question and you're going to be way better off.
Right. Well, you'll evolve to that point, like
Yeah.
Peter
If
McKinnon,
somebody cares enough that if coffee becomes part of your shtick, then sure. But
right.
you don't need to put it in to show how a retaining wall base is laid. You just don't.
No, no, you don't need that to make a difference in your bottom line. And yeah, Tim,
No.
Ryan, use the tech you have. Exactly. There are great, and I've talked about it in some of my videos on my other channel under my name, about different programs that you can install on your phone, different apps you can have on your phone for editing.
Yeah.
And most of them are free. So
Yeah.
We
We're
almost
so
have,
spoiled. Our
yeah,
there's no excuses anymore other than, like I said, you can get paralyzed by the amount of stuff that's out there. That is something I
right.
can relate to, and it can stop you in your tracks. But man, if you just want to learn anything nowadays, you can. And
Hmm.
YouTube is an awesome platform to do it. I mean, it's just there.
The info is out there. It's all the
Yep,
mental game
it
to
is.
put
Mindset
put
is
your,
important.
right,
Yeah.
put yourself out as the face of your business.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
well, what do you see as next for your YouTube channel?
I play with this a lot because I'm very critical of myself, like I'm sure most people are. And one of my goals was to be able to make videos in my underwear if I wanted to with snow on the ground. I literally wanted to get a template together that was interesting enough that I could do that. And that's hard. You got to have motion. You got to show things. You got to be out in nature. And this is something I fight because I'm trying to go against the grain and say it doesn't have to be that way, which I haven't
Hmm.
found out the secret sauce quite yet. But I think I'm definitely going down the rabbit hole and getting more and more like the videos, the quality and everything that I'm presenting is it's valuable for sure. But I think that showing more of the projects that we've got going on with the designs is something that I'm going to be doing,
Hmm.
as well as within the next 6 months, I will probably have a podcast. I
Ah.
got that in the talks with my coach, and we're going to talk more of to contractors. It
Hmm.
won't just be landscape design or architecture. I think we're going to go a little bit more broad, which is kind of the opposite. Everybody says niche, niche, niche down as much as possible. We've got a concept that we're going to be working on. So I'll mention more of that as time goes.
Sure, sure. Well, hopefully that's on video.
Oh, of course. Why
Nice,
not? That's
nice.
fun.
It's conversation.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's exciting. What's your favorite project you're working on right now? Real world
Um,
project, not YouTube.
yeah. Well, this is a project that makes my wife want to pull her hair out is I have started the pool conversation for my backyard. It's been
Ah.
2 years. It's just been grass. And I'm finally pulling the trigger. I'm partnering up with a buddy out of Arkansas that I know that we've done some water feature training, and he does a lot of gunite pools. I think I'm going to just go for it. And I put together a sick, disgusting design the other day that I'm just like, okay, this is great, but are you really going to pay for this? So I'm already trying to figure out crafty ways to do some of the work myself and blah, blah, blah. And I even started watching YouTube videos, go figure, of how to install your own pool because I don't really specialize in putting pools in. We do everything but. My wife's like, stop right now. You're
Yeah.
not putting in our pool. I said, you're right. I'm not. But that's what I got going on. So, anyways.
And that's all coming. That'll be on the YouTube channel, I assume.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Like
Nice.
it would be absolutely stupid for me not to show you what I got going on. It's gonna
Hmm.
be awesome. Awesome.
Nice.
I can't wait. Yeah.
Good deal. Well, you can find that forthcoming video on his
Yeah.
YouTube channel under his name, Bobby K Designs, or visit bobbykdesigns.com. The question just came in: do you do projects outside your local area? Yes, yes. He's traveled quite a bit. Some in the Pacific Northwest, and then Georgia. You did one in Ireland, didn't you?
Not the actual project. That was just a design. But I
Oh, okay.
designed for people mostly in the US, but it's definitely been in a couple different countries.
Hmm.
And one of the things that I do is as contractors, even architects, and people just get busy. I've helped some of the contractors locally doing designs for them. So I don't just design for just my company, I help other companies. So if somebody's out of state and they're looking to sub out a little bit of work, maybe another helping hand or a set of eyeballs, I'm happy to help anybody. You can find me pretty easy. I love to help people. That's really the biggest part of the YouTube is yeah, it totally fuels business, but it's fun to get out there and help people. And at the end of the day, um, you got 30 million bucks in the bank and you're 6 feet under. What does it matter? It's all about legacy and making your mark on the world. And I see
Hmm.
that as a really cool opportunity that YouTube provides. So
Awesome. I think that's a great place to leave it. This has been an awesome conversation. I
cool.
appreciate you coming on the show.
Well, thanks for inviting me. It's fun.
You can send me a direct message about the podcast, maybe other guests that you'd like to see on the show at Jake Krakowski, Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. And until next week's show, make it a great week because our success is inevitable. Take care. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you stay up to date with future episodes. Connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn at Jake Krakowski. And for show notes and much more, visit profitecturebydesign.com/podcast.